The galactic combat arena fell silent as the human delegation approached the registration platform. Ambassador Chen's diplomatic smile masked her internal calculations. This tournament wasn't just entertainment, it was humanity's chance to prove. They belonged among the warrior races of the consortium. "You cannot be serious," rumbled Warlord Krekstar of the Thrakari Empire, his forearms crossing over his massive chitinous chest. The 8-foot behemoth's mandibles clicked in what passed for laughter among his species. "That thing is your champion?" All eyes turned to Maya Rodriguez, who stood barely 5 feet tall in her simple training clothes. At 17, she looked even smaller beside the towering alien warriors, the crystalline Vorthak whose bodies could deflect plasma bolts, the gas giant dwelling Helians whose density made them living battering rams, and Krekstar's own species, bred for conquest across 1,000 worlds. "The registration is valid," announced the consortium arbiter, its mechanical voice echoing through the arena. "The human presents no restricted augmentations or weaponry." A wave of chittering, growling, and harmonic tones rippled through the assembled crowd, the galactic equivalent of laughter. Maya's jaw tightened, but she said nothing. "Child," the Vorthak champion Shaltek spoke in crystalline chimes that the translators rendered as condescending concern. "This arena has seen warriors die. Your fragile calcium-based skeleton will shatter at first impact. Withdraw, and spare your species the embarrassment." Maya looked up at the 12-foot crystalline giant, her dark eyes steady. "Thanks for the concern. I'll take my chances." The preliminary rounds were a massacre, but not in the way anyone expected. Maya's first opponent was a Helian warrior named Bruloth, a creature that weighed nearly half a ton and had crushed starship hulls with his bare hands. The betting pools heavily favored the alien, 10,000 to 1 odds against the human. The match began with Bruloth charging like a living meteor. Maya didn't dodge, she stepped forward. What happened next would be analyzed in slow motion for decades. As the Helian's massive fist thundered toward her, Maya's body moved with impossible precision. She redirected the giant's momentum with a simple hip throw, using his own crushing weight against him. Bruloth sailed through the air and slammed into the arena wall with enough force to crack the reinforced polymer. He didn't get up. "Impossible," whispered the consortium medical officer examining Bruloth's unconscious form. "Every bone in his primary striking limb is fractured. How does a creature with such limited muscle mass generate this kind of leverage?" The crowd's laughter died as Maya advanced through the tournament bracket. The Thrakari berserker Veklan, famous for tearing apart enemy dropships, found himself trapped in a hole that compressed his breathing spiracles until he tapped out. The cybernetically enhanced Nexus warrior Zeth Prime discovered that his predictive combat algorithms meant nothing when Maya fought with techniques his databases had never cataloged. By the semifinals, the arena was dead silent, except for the sound of alien warriors hitting the deck. "How?" Krekstar demanded as he watched his species' second finest warrior being loaded onto a medical transport. "She has no natural weapons, no thick hide, no enhanced strength. Her bones are hollow compared to ours." Ambassador Chen smiled, remembering her own childhood studying judo in São Paulo. "Warlord, your species conquered through strength. You never needed to learn what humans discovered long ago. It's not about the size of the warrior, it's about understanding physics." The finals arrived with Shaltek facing Maya. The Vorthak had studied the previous matches, his crystal matrix brain analyzing every technique. His body was living diamond, virtually indestructible. Surely this would end the human's impossible run. "You have impressed many," Shaltek chimed as they faced each other in the center of the arena. "But I am not gas giant soft or bone and meat vulnerable. I am the crystalline perfection of—" Maya moved. She didn't attack Shaltek's massive crystal torso or try to break his diamond-hard limbs. Instead, she grabbed his arm at the elbow joint, the one point where even living crystal required flexibility to function, and applied a technique as old as humanity's first martial arts. The sound that filled the arena wasn't the crack of breaking crystal. It was worse, the grinding, separating noise of a joint being forced beyond its structural limits. Shaltek's arm didn't break. It separated completely at the socket, his own weight and momentum providing the force Maya had redirected. The 12-foot champion toppled like a falling statue, his harmonic scream of pain and shock reverberating through the arena. Maya stood, over her opponent not even breathing hard. Yield. The massive crystal head moved in what might have been a nod. The arena erupted, not in laughter this time, but in stunned silence followed by the kind of roar that greeted only the greatest. Warriors. Species that had fought humans in border skirmishes now looked at Maya with something approaching reverence. The physics were always on our side, Maya said later, accepting her champion's trophy from the trembling arbiter. Force times distance equals work. Leverage multiplies force. Basic human science. She looked out at the crowd of alien warriors, many nursing injuries that would take weeks to heal. You all got so strong that you forgot the universe doesn't care how tough you are. It only cares about applied physics. Krextar approached, his pride visibly struggling with newfound respect. Human Maya Rodriguez, the Thrakari Empire would be honored to offer you a position in our warrior academies. Thanks, Maya grinned, the expression somehow more intimidating than any alien war cry. But I've got calculus homework due Monday. As humanity's delegation prepared to leave, carrying with them new trade agreements and mutual defense treaties, Ambassador Chen couldn't help but smile. The galaxy's warrior races had learned something important today. Human children might look fragile, but they were products of a species that had turned survival into an art form and physics into a weapon. Maya's victory wasn't just about strength or technique. It was about 10,000 years of human innovation distilled into a 17-year-old girl who understood that sometimes the best way to win a fight was to let your opponent defeat themselves. The consortium would never underestimate humanity again.